Hi, I'm Robert Clayton. This is how to build a blog in Rails. Previous video we got Hello World on the page, and this episode we're going to create a new blog post, a new article. Thanks for watching. Going forward we would like some articles on our blog page. So, and able to do that, we actually want to see add a new resource. We want to add a new resource called articles. But first, just to show you what we're doing, let's go to a terminal. I'm just going to go bin Rails roots. Now this will show us all the current HTTP requests that we can do. So at the moment all we have is welcome index, and we've got our root, of course, which we have set over here in Atom to welcome index, so which you can see here. You can see where we set it to. Great, but we actually now want articles, which we do quite simply in Rails. It gives us a nice shortcut. So we're going to go resources, and we're going to just set it to articles. Great. Now if we then reload bin Rails roots, we should see that articles has now been created in and actually Rails has created all the HTTP requests that we need for a basic resource to have all the CRUD options, so that it's create, read, update and delete. So we could get all our get and post requests that we would need in order to do this. So, great. So what happens then if we fire up the server? Is it going to be there for us? As soon as it loads. Okay, so it's loaded. It's loaded now. So we go to the localhost. Great. So then can we just go articles new? No. Now this is because although we may have put the resource in, we haven't actually got a controller yet. So if I just go over to the right here, Control C to get out of this, and I'm just going to clear the screen up, which I shortcut as Command K. Back over to Atom, and we actually now need to generate this controller. We put the resource in as articles, but now we need to generate it. Once again, we've got Rails to do the work for us, so we can go bin Rails G for generate controller articles, bin Rails G controller articles. Great. Now you can see over on the left here in Atom, it's gone green because it's added a new articles controller for us. Fantastic. And then obviously we've got the same old JavaScript style sheets it's added for us, and the helper for us. So there we go. We have it. So let's go back to the page again. Actually, let's boot up our server first. That would help. Bin Rails S. Wait until it says listening on 3000. There we go. Let's reload it. Articles new. Okay, so the action new could not be found. So remember how we did an action index? Over here in the welcome controller we have the action index. When articles, it's saying it doesn't recognize new. So we've got articles new is the HTTP request we're trying to get to, is the get request. And it's saying it doesn't exist, it can't find it. So let's go back here into our articles controller, and we're just going to add a def new in there, a new method, and we're going to close that. Let's go back to the server, and here we go. Okay, wonderful. So now we're getting the same old thing. It's the 204 no content, so getting the 204 error message, which basically says there's nothing on the screen, which is fine. So once again, the same thing we did with the welcome. We want to go to the views, and here you can see how we did the welcome index. Here we want articles, and we've got nothing in there. So once again, we did index.html.erb because in our welcome controller we had an index. So when we go in articles, we now want a new to match our articles controller. We want that new. So let's go to views, articles, and I'm just going to right click here and do a new file, and I'm going to call it new.html.erb for embedded Ruby. So HTML with Ruby embedded into it. Wonderful. And then here we're just going to do a simple h1 tag, and we're going to call it new article, and close that h tag like that. Simple. We still have our server running over on the right, so let's go back to Chrome, let's give it a refresh, and there we go. So we have our new article. So now that that's done, we've made a significant change. We need to commit this to GitHub. So we're going to do git commit flag m, and we're going to call it created article resource and controller. Yeah. Great. Oh, sorry. Standard error. Let's add everything first and then let's commit it again. Great. And then we're going to push that up to master. Okay, so now that we've done that, we have our basic page here with new article. We now actually want to make a form so we can actually submit a new article. So let's go back to Atom, and now we're here again in the view articles new html.erb, and in here we actually want to go and create our form. So we want to open the Ruby tags, or the embedded Ruby, which look like this. If it's something you want printed to screen, you need this equals here. If it's something you literally just want to do logic wise, so you would just exclude the equals. So anything inside these brackets is Ruby code, or is interpreted as Ruby code. So in here we want to do a form, capital locks. So form with, and we want to do form with scope, and we want that to be articles, and then we want local true if I can spell, and then we want to open up the block. Let's call it form. Great, and let's close this. So just write an end. Lovely. So what do we want in this form? Well, first of all, we are using articles, so it's going to be saved as articles at the end, and when it comes out the other end. And let's just be a bit lazy there. Have to write those out again. So let's do form, and let's call this a label. Label like that, and title. Yes, and we also. So we want a title, and we want the label on the page to be called title, and now we actually want the text box. So we have label title, and we have a text box to write the title in. Now we want the same again, but rather than title, we want the text for the article. So we've got the title and the text of the article. And let's kick up the server again, bin Rails server, and we should be able to see this now. Okay, listening on 3000. Okay, what have I done wrong? No method error in articles new. Oh, scope, no methods for scope. Okay. Yeah. Did you mean text area? I did mean text area. Completely right. Okay, great. We've got title and we've got text, and actually we're missing a submit button, so let me just add that in real quick. And we do again want this to appear on the screen. So go form and .submit. Great. And actually, just from seeing that, let's also add some breaks in there. So standard HTML breaks. And actually, let's wrap that in a P, just to make it look a bit nicer. Bump that along one. Cool. Let's see what it looks like. A bit better. Okay, let's add some more P's in there. Let's close the P there. Let's open a new one. Let's do the same. That's much better. Okay. Great. So if we go along and we put in first, and the text is some text, it's going to throw us to an error because it says no roots match the post articles new, which is fine. So what's gone wrong here is we haven't told it where we want the submit button to go to. So what we need to do, we need to go back to our code, and it's here. We want to tell it where to go to when it's submitted. So we want the URL to follow the articles path. So let's go back. Let's resubmit this form. Do I save it? Oh, I didn't type it in right. URL. Back. Let's retry it. Okay, I'm back. Okay, sorry, I found the problem. The problem was I had articles here rather than article. Which is the thing with Rails. It stores them as a multiple. So it will save them as articles, but when you define them, you've got to do article, because what we're doing here is we're saving a single article. We're not saving articles. So just here, it's article rather than articles with an S. So we're doing form with scope, article. Make sure it's an object, and then URL articles path. And then, now we've got that going there. When you put in a title and some text, you save the article and run to the next step. So the action create could not be found. So this is following the RESTful routes again. It's going from new, and then it's going to create, which if we go back to our bin Rails routes, as soon as it wants to load for me. Come on, okay, yeah, so we've done our new, and then that passes it on, because we're following the URL path, the articles path, it follows the natural RESTful routes. So obviously when you do new, it then wants to pass it on to create. So here. But what it's saying is, it doesn't when it's saying here, the create action cannot be found for articles, it's the same thing as when it said new. It couldn't find a new one. So we want to go back to Atom. We want to go back to our articles controller. We have new, and we now want to add create. Wonderful. Let's fire the server up again. Great. Let's go back to the new again, and let's just submit on a form again. And it's done it. If you look over here, you can see that it has submitted an article. So title, first text, some text, and it's committed it. So it tried to save the article, which is very nice. If we want to see this more clearly, we can go back to Atom again, and in create we can ask it to render out plain. So we're just creating a hash here, plain, and kick out the parameters for us of the article we've just made. Sorry, article. Let's try one more time, see what happens. Let's go to, and that can also be some text. Okay. To and some text. Great, there we go. We've got it all kicked out on the right, and it's come up at the top here. So we've made another significant change. So we're going to git add everything we've just done. I'm going to git commit. Well, it doesn't save. Creates a new article. Just push that up. Hey, thanks for watching. So we've just created a new article. Next video we will save it to the database and read it and display it on the page.